Okay, got it.
Okay, you're recorded now, Tom?
Yeah, I'm recording now. You heard the thing come on. The conference is recorded, right?
Yeah,
I'm been very poor light. I can barely see my screen.
Okay. Well, Harold and I have been, Harold's down in Texas, I'm in Iowa. Okay? We've been having a hard time trying to get our UCCs from the Secretary of State. What we're finding out is that really the Secretaries of State do not do non-UCC filings. Okay? We've been trying to force them through there, but they don't do non-UCC filings. They never heard of it before because they only do UCC filings, underage filings, children's filings, wards of estate filings. We're not wards of estate. We're an adult. Now, as an adult, we have to get into our records where we want our records stored by book and page number. We don't go by number. Okay? Page number is not a number per se. And that's right in the Bible. Do not get numbered. That you have to be entered into the book. Okay? So, we take our non-UCC filings and we place them into the county records. We print them out. We don't need a number on these instruments. We will operate with book and page number. Just like what we've done with our DD-214s. Just like what we've done with our admiralty person prints on the land document. And what we've done with our hospital or Bible entry person, man on the land, prints on the land document. A man has to have three. He has to have a statement that basically he was in honor and had completed his military obligation, whether he was never called up or whether he was called up. But his military obligation had to be completed by the age of 25. Okay? Or if he wanted to come in later and then get the extra, he could do that. But that was what the initial thing was, that all obligations in this country had to be completed by the age of 25 for a man. The other being a man on the land and a man on the sea, or a woman on the land and a woman on the sea, were under normally a 7-year contract. 3 7-year contracts. 3. Or 21 years of age to lawfully claim the inheritance, the dowry, whatever you wanted to look at. So we get our, and I would put the cover sheet, but that's up to you. Okay, I'm not going to tell you anything more out here that you need to do this. I only recommend these things. Okay. If I feel that it's going to be a lot stronger to your case and everything,
Ralph in Texas,
put it in. Okay? So you put that cover sheet that I basically put up there, and put the your UCC behind it. And then basically you get the certified copies of that, and then you send that along with your organization status, your prints on the land and your prints on the sea document, or princes on the land and princes on the sea document, showing that you are an international organization. The county that you live in is a small state government. That's why they take the R out of country, or it's a small country state. You are a principality in that state, that small state. If you watch enough Hallmark movies, you'll see some of the things about the small principalities that are located in Europe, in the different nations. The highest law enforcement in the county is basically the sheriff. All these state and federal country or state or nation agents have to go through the sheriff's office before anything can be done in the county. Why? Because it is a separate country, and they have to go to the chief law enforcement officer. On the UCCs, it does not say that they all have to be filed at the state. Nowhere on those documents does it say that. We just took it for granted. But all of the court actions, all of the Bar Association, they have been filing non-UCCs against us constantly. They don't go into the county recorder's office. They don't go into the state recorder's office, Secretary of State's office. Where do they go? They go into their own private bar court records, hidden from you. You have to get your UCC, non-UCC, and that's non-U, okay? So that means you're not underage. U in UCC stands for underage child. And you're not an underage, you're an adult. Very simple, hidden right in plain sight. Do we need to do a bankruptcy? No. Okay, but if you filed a bunch of SF 1047s, certificates with values on them, sent them out to different places, then I would fill out a B1330 form and list all of those items. Tell the U.S. trustee when you send this into him that here is where some of these documents are located. At the U.S. Attorney's Office, at the Federal District Court, at the Secretary of State's office, at the Bureau of Physical Services office. List them. Tell them where they are. When you make your filing, I would also, if you've got a bunch of receipts, put a SF 1047 in to claim that much back right away. Using the B410 form, basically, the max you could put on the bankruptcy form was $10 billion. Good. I have no idea how much the value of my account is, but I know that there's probably a lot more than that. And see, I'm going to file this in, basically using the United States of America Treasury Department as a co-claimant in this action. We've both been harmed by this process. I'm not greedy. I will put it there. So I modified my UCC that I'm going to be doing, my non-UCC, and I also changed my value from 10 billion to 47 billion. For some reason, that number 47 keeps cropping up in a lot of different movies. It appeared in one of the last movies here, The Gods of Egypt, which came out here recently. So, that's pretty much where I see the things going. Now, all your court cases, okay, you need to have your claim in that court. Those courts are nothing but adjustment courts, and they're looking for who has the claim, the lien. And the courts turn around, and they are basically siphoning off assets out of your account by placing their fraudulent liens and claim in against your account. You just don't know it because they're recorded in the county, in the court records, the bar attorney court records. How do you think they get paid? They get paid by fraud and deception. They're foreign agents. Okay? What you do not do in court, you've never demanded as a defendant in court all of the action items in that court, full disclosure in that court. I want to see all the court records that are here, all the payment records that are going to be assigned for the judge, for the prosecutor, everybody. Even for your own attorney. Kickbacks that they're getting in the process per their non-UCC filings hidden away from you because you didn't ask for full disclosure in that court case. You can go into the movie My Cousin Vinny and see that. That the prosecutor has to disclose all of his documents over to the defense side of the aisle. And basically, since all of these non-harm actions, court actions, are all financial, that means they have to disclose all financial liens and everything else over to the other party if you ask for them, but they're not going to give them to you automatically. I put 2 UCCs, non-UCCs up there. One for a Chapter 15. The other one was basically, I thought I'd sent it to Tom earlier, but I guess I hadn't. So I got it to him this morning. Basically, I know it's on We the People site. I don't know whether it got posted on the Concurrent or not. So we're going to go through, I'm going to get with Tom, and we're going to go through and try and streamline a bunch of the files out of the system. and just keep basically what has been put out in the last 3 months. So all the audios, if you want them, you better have them downloaded, because we're going to remove all the audios from about 2013 all the way up here till probably the start of March.
Yes, Patrick, I did get that UCC up on both Yahoo and eConcurrent. The only thing that didn't get up was that now you don't see me on Yahoo. It is on eConcurrent.
Okay.
I'll have it up on Yahoo pretty soon. My bad internet didn't let me get that file up there.
Yeah, and basically if you read through UCC 9, you'll see there again, there's nothing stating where these UCCs have to be recorded at. There's nothing stating that they have to have a number. They can be recorded as book and page numbers. And I don't know how the damn Bar Association hides all of their non-UCCs, but we know that they're doing it. Now, when you ask for full disclosure on that, basically it's going to scare the living shit out of them, because now you are going to expose the fraud that they're operating under. Now, I want to see your non-UCCs that you have filed into this court action. I've got my non-UCC standing right here. You need to get a non-UCC out there against everything that basically you have jurisdictional control over. The UCCs that the state has placed upon us, okay, they filed theirs hidden away also. The United States, with their corporate non-UCCs, have done the same thing. You don't see these non-UCCs, but yet they're out there because they have to have a claim, a lien or claiming document to start their bonding process. And like I said, U on UCC stands for underage or children. Construction contract. An underage construction contract. That's what UCC is all about. It's a child labor contract. Because every time you start a new document, a new driver's license, a new certificate of title, basically, and why is most of these certificates of title to vehicles fully settled at the end of 7 years? Because that is the limit on a contract. Supposed to be. But if you go down and you continue to operate that vehicle by getting a new license to the vehicle, you're reiterating it back into the system. You're granting them continuance. Basically, you're volunteering to stay to keep that child labor contract going. The state, the United States, the state of the United States, and all of these people have been treating you as a ward of an orphanage. You have orphaned these items from you. The Shirley Temple movies, the Peter Pan movies, quite a few Daddy Warbucks and Little Orphan Annie in the orphanage. Basically, that's what it's all about, these orphanages. We have to claim our orphans back home, our child that we abandoned. put them under state wardship. And just like in most of those movies, the supervisors of those orphanages were not very nice people. They hoarded the food from the children. They kept things from the children. They put them to extra work. And then they trick you into all these prisons and everything else. Get you to claim to be the surety for the child. When basically the child is holding all of the labor assets that are supposed to be paying the bills. I don't know whether that makes any sense to you people or not, but basically that's the way the game is played. It's pretty simple when you look at the difference between UCC and non-UCC. One's underage, the other's an adult. It's that simple. Take off your goddamn diapers and put on a big boy pair of pants for a change. Stop arguing all these damn codes of law and statutes. They do not apply to the American adult person. Only the amendments, and basically then only up to the 16th Amendment. From the 16th on, they're all totally fraudulent amendments. And the constitutions apply to the living person, to we the people, to the princes of the land in this country. And basically what they're doing out here with all of our children under these child labor contracts, constructive child labor contracts, they're doing financial fornication with them. Fornication. I've heard that about the judges and everything else in the past, about child fornication and different things. Child prostitution, child whatever, for hire. I never fully understood it. How could these guys be running around committing all these acts against children and not be in jail? Because it's all these financial constructed children, these dummy children that they're having fornication with, commercial intercourse with. You got to know the words. Then you can start breaking these things down. And you have to squeak like hell in the damn process. But basically, we can put these things out. And basically, I know damn well I've got my Secretary of State and basically Attorney General scared shitless that I'm starting to see the damn process that they're going through. But they ain't going to talk to me. Because one wrong word out of them, and basically their goose is cooked. But we don't need them. We don't need this government. We have our own government. Ourselves. We do our documents. Then we put it into where we record our private records in our county, country record books. That's where we keep our records. So, you don't need to go through the process of getting these Secretary of State UCC filings. I'm thoroughly convinced of that now. If I get one back with a number, I'll put that in too. But basically, I'm not going to. I'm going to go down tomorrow morning, take a copy of my UCC, non-UCC filing, and put it right into the county records, along with the cover sheet that I put up there. Get certified copies of that and send that off to the damn U.S. trustee, along with a 1047, and basically a list of the other documents that I have out there, certificate of live birth, endorsed for like $5 million, with the Secretary of State, with the Chief Judge, or the Clerk of the Court at the federal courthouse, or at the Bankruptcy Court, and even with the U.S. Attorney's Office. I know what I've got there. I know the serial numbers of all those documents. So I'll put all a claim in against all of those items. Now that U.S. trustee has to bring all of my children back home, liquidate them, and basically go and get all of the adjustments and give those over to the United States of America Treasury Department, the de jure treasury of the country. My non-UCC will stay in place. I will add additional items under new non-UCC filings. If I buy property, if I buy a vehicle, basically they will be protected. They will stand as property under my private bank in my international organization, exempt from taxes per Public Law 79-281, and also 22 U.S.C. 288A. Those laws were not necessarily put there to protect us. They were there to put as a buffer between the commercial people and us. They're telling them what they can and can't do. That's why they're in the codes of law. They're telling them they can't come and harm us. We've already got most all of our protections fully established by the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the amendments. The 14th Amendment, the 15th Amendment, the 13th Amendment, and the Expatriation Act. But our children, we have a right to claim them back, unvolunteer them out of the system, and protect all of our children and our property. Right of trade per Title 15, U.S.C., Section 1 and 2. Why is that important? Well, you got 1 and 2. Where's 3? 3 would be a 15 bankruptcy filing. Chapter 15 bankruptcy filing. Now you have your 3 15s. 3 15s add up to basically what? 45. 4 and 5, 9. 3 times 3 is 9. 333 Constitution Avenue in Washington, D.C. You can put a claim in, basically, under Chapter 15 for violation of Title 15 against these agents out here that cause you any harm. It wouldn't have been quite as obvious to most people, except a couple of us, went through that bankruptcy court in Washington, D.C., and went through their website and went through their learning process, knowing that these attorneys are filing liens and everything else against our accounts in the background. Now we know how they do it. They do non-UCC filings, and they file them into their private records. And we never ask for them in the court action. We don't ask for full disclosure of all court records, charging records. You can't answer a charge unless you know what the charges are and how to set those charges off. And you don't know that because you've never asked for that information. But everybody wants to go into these courts and argue law. This and that. Pay some damn attorney to come in and help you. The mortgage is already paid for. You gave the credits to begin with. But you have to get your non-UCC claim against that, giving the credits over to them, so that basically your lien stands superior to their liens. A U.S. trustee made statement to one person that basically he had to make sure that all the I's were dotted and the T's were crossed, because otherwise somebody's going to jail. And if these court, bar attorney claims and everything are fraud, even third-party debt collectors are filing these non-UCCs. But they may be filing them in their county. They may be completely in a different state. You never see those non-UCC filings. That's the game they play. Hide the P, the shell game. They hide the P and then they piss all over you. So that's pretty much all I've got to say. This, where we're at, it's very simple. From this point on, you just need to get off your ass and do it. And stop asking the question, well, I want to see results. I'll be goddamn if I'm going to tell you the results if I do all the work and let you try and benefit from it. You're no better off than the damn bar attorneys. You're wanting something for nothing. You've got to work for this if you want it. Sick and tired of all the damn assholes in this country that don't know how to read the Bible. This is one of the very first things in the Bible. Adam and Eve lived in the garden. They had everything they wanted. But they weren't happy with that. They had little Cain, born in the Garden of Eden, even though they try and claim he was born outside the Garden of Eden. He wasn't. He was born in the garden. Because what was the apple that Eve and Adam were eating? It was little Cain's labor in the garden of the fruits and vegetables. They were very piss-poor parents. They never gave him any respect. They were not satisfied with him, with all his labor. They never basically showed any payment to him. And the bankers got Adam and Eve to do that. Why should you do anything? Why should you go out and pick the fruit off the tree? Everything's out here, but why should you do it? Sit on your ass and let the little Cain do it. See, this is right in the very beginning of the Bible, and then basically it's carried on forward throughout the Babylonian Empire, throughout the Egyptian Empire, throughout the Polynesian Empire, throughout all the different empires. Even in the latest Gods of Egypt movie here. Basically, the people were all happy. They were going to be able to go to heaven or to the afterlife. They didn't have to pay to get there. But basically, this other God came in and said, oh, no, we got to have payment. We're going to make you work. And then basically, you're not going to be able to, you're going to have to pay to get to the afterlife. That was the Pharaonic system that basically was set up in Egypt. Joseph was not a good guy. He got all his fellow Hebrews under the family of Abraham into servitude, which Abraham tried to get out of. People don't know who the good guys are and who the bad guys are. In the early Westerns in the 1930s, even the John Wayne ones, the good guys wore the black hats, the bad guys wore the white hats. Then later on in the 40s, they said, oh, that's not right. We've got to have the bad guys wearing the black hats and the good guys wearing the white hats. The religious leaders, they all wear basically white, but they're also running around in black. White collars. They're the good guys. Bullshit. They're the deceivers of the religion, of the Bible. They couldn't tell you the truth about the Bible because they don't know the truth. But people want to believe anything they see. They don't want to go out and work and find out the truth for themselves. I'm just trying to open your eyes. The rest of this shit is up to you. That's all I came to do. Just like that's all that Jesus came to do. That's all that St. Patrick came to do to Ireland. Try to open up the people's eyes. Run the bankers out. Show them how to run the bankers out. Show them the game that's being played upon them. America belongs to the people. It don't belong to the corporations. It don't belong to the religious leaders. It don't belong to anybody but we the people. All these religious leaders, they've got their own claim. Why in the hell are they going after ours? Why are these bar attorneys going after ours instead of their own? Because they really don't want to work. They want it all handed to them. Yet a couple of the public defenders saw the game that was played. They didn't quite understand it, and they got out of it because they could not morally stay in the system that basically they were making more money sending somebody to prison than they were getting them off. So they knew there was something wrong. But most of the bar attorneys and everything else, I mean, what are they all doing? When they're not in court, they're out there acting as tax accountants. Right there, you ought to know something's wrong because we don't owe any taxes. The taxes are owed to we the people. The corporations owe us. Especially the bankrupt United States and the state of bankrupts. The foreign governmental controlled bankrupts in this country. Okay, I think I've ranted and raved enough. Open it up for questions, Tom.
Okay, Patrick, yeah. Would you agree to take what we've
You
gone
got to
through
speak up a
before?
little. You're muffled.
Yeah, I'm in a car with I'm not a local location. Yes, I really appreciate the big picture. You've gone over most of this before, but you've assembled it with some new insights, and that's really helpful.
Well, I'm going to tell you this right now, Tom, on this open call. You need to get the fuck away from all those other fucking outfits that you're dealing with. They don't know any of this shit. And you're going to get your ass in trouble. Okay?
I'm not doing anything.
If you're getting anybody else into a shell game out here, and basically that's what most of these other things are. They're shell games. That damn judge over in Hong Kong, Nudu or whatever the hell his name is, that judge, that female judge up in Alaska, that other nitwit that's out there in Washington, D.C., female, stay the hell away from them. They don't know what the shit. They're not telling you a damn thing how to get out of a system. I just told you the simplest process going.
Yes, you did. And that's what I'm here for.
And it's all up to you. It's not up to a group effort or anything like that. You have to do this individually.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Not an Indian nation, not any of that bullshit. This country was founded upon the Declaration of Independence. That means that every person in this country, Indian, Native Indian, basically naturalized Indian, basically anybody that is in this country is an individual. When they get naturalized or basically born on the land, they are declared to be an independent.
Yes.
With the full protections of the Declaration of Independence and the Bill of Rights in this country.
I agree.
You just need to get your documents filed at the county. Your small country state.
Right, right.
And you are a principality, an e-state. This is what George Washington would not sign the Constitution until he was assured that the counties would be the ecclesiastical place for the people, the small countries, their own self-government. You get those documents recorded at the county, and basically you have your superior, preferred, and perfected liens right then and there.
Exactly. That's what I'm going to be doing.
Okay, anybody else?
Yeah, I would like to ask about the method by which you put the collateral in number 4 in your example. Can you expand on that a little bit, or your ideas, what's behind that?
Are you looking at the latest that one UCC, the non-UCC that I put up there, for our own, not the Chapter 15 one, or Title 15.
I don't believe. I think it's, where did that go?
Well, basically, you just got to read through the item and see what you want to put in there. Your certificate of live birth, your Social Security account. These are all your children's documents. Your driver's license, your hunting license, your fishing license, your title to your vehicle, your title to your property. Any EINs you put out, they all went as child labor contracts. You put them into the orphanage with either the United States orphanage or the state of whatever orphanage. You made them wards of a state.
Well, one here gets this, but I'm reading it now. I have it. It says that this private American international organization has been harmed. Okay, that's the one I'm talking about. Is that the collateral?
What is the title of the file?
Oh, I just have the printout of the, I don't know the title of it. I'm sorry. I just printed it out and I'm reading it off of a document.
I think the one you're looking at is probably the Chapter 15 one.
Okay.
Yeah, there's another one that basically had Tom post up, and I might throw up a rev to it for the wording, or just post the wording up there, and basically you can take it, but take the cover sheet that I put there, and most of the information is on that cover sheet to get you to start thinking about what's going on here, about the child labor and everything. There's child labor acts out here. There's also the Baby Act. They didn't list the Baby Act, but basically that one should be listed on there too. Because any contract that was signed as a baby is null and void because it was signed underage. And they constructed these children underage. When you got the driver's license, how old was the debtor child? You just created him. So he's less than a day old. He's a newborn. And that's why most driver's license and everything, they don't go for 7 years. They go for less than that. So they get you under a new child labor contract each time you have to sign up and get a new driver's license. Think about these things. How the game is played. They get that driver's license is a continuous thing. It still operates under the same number, but basically they're just getting you under a refreshing contract. So like a remortgage on your house. And one of the things, as soon as you get your property and you get this out of the system, you get a homestead exemption against that property. You will have to pay for the services that you receive. You don't have any children in school, you don't have to pay any school taxes. And in most states, that is the biggest tax against the property out there is the damn school system. And hell, in some damn places, you've got more administrators in the school system than you do teachers. How ludicrous is that? And see, the government sets this all up to basically get the people to think that you're not supporting the government. You're the bad guy. No, you're the good guy when you start operating properly, because you're not doing financial insurrection against the country. And that's what's called out in Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, that everybody hates that 14th Amendment. oh, this did this to us. And basically, they don't know how to read. They put protections in there when you saw what was going on. You operate under the first sentence in Section 4, not under the second sentence, as a debtor, a false debtor, by putting your child into a state laboring contract and being a bad parent. No better than Adam and Eve. And you will be punished by being kicked out of the Garden of Eden. That's what's been going on. That's the game from day one of this damn Bible. You can either be operating in the Garden of Eden or basically you can operate outside. Okay, anybody else?
I got a question for you on the recording on the county, and I'm not disagreeing with you at all. However, I was going to ask you if you have any information on the land courts and the 13 land courts that are spread out throughout the United States.
You don't need to worry about those, okay? That's old shit. Okay?
Well,
the property's already been settled, okay? You bought the property. You have the bill of sale. Do you need a rodeo title? No. You have to put your claim in against the property, that you're the owner. See, most people don't even realize.
No, I get that, Patrick. I get that. No, I get that. What I'm saying, would it be detrimental to give them notice of this claim?
No. Why do you need to give them notice? They're out of the picture
because
now.
when I was researching when they give notice bureau-wide. Okay, and then I started the bureau-wide, so you're talking about FBI, you're talking about Bureau of Fiscal Services, Bureau of Land.
When you go into the U.S. trustee for the district, he will straighten everything out. He's required to. That's one of the requirements. That's why basically people can go to jail. They can arrest these judges, these foreign or these bar attorneys that are putting fraudulent charges against your account, these third-party debt collectors that turn around and bought these contracts, these people that bought your property fraudulently at a sheriff's sale by order of a bar association, so that basically the bar association was getting a kickback from the sale along with the beneficial Scottish Freemason person that's buying the property, trying to make a profit off of you. It's all a fraudulent, monopolized mob game. But if you stand in there with your lawful claims, the FBI, the Secret Service, the U.S. Marshals, they have to support you. And even the sheriff will support you because he can't harm you either. But you get this non-UCC filed, then you turn around, and if you've got any problem with the damn court, you take that into the court and say, here, I'm reopening this court case on the property, and basically I want to see all of your non-UCC filings, and here is my superior claim, and so I am ordering you to issue a stay of action until this is resolved. And I have informed the U.S. trustee over this whole process. A U.S. trustee is supposed to be an independent person out here acting as a go-between, basically the bankrupt corporation and the de jure United States when we come in with our lawful claims, our non-UCCs against our property, that we now stand as an adult and not a baby child whimpering out here, running around with shit in our diapers. Arguing damn codes of law and everything. Oh, I want a loading up title. I want this. I want that. You ain't going to get it. You have to work for it. You have to put your demands on the table. Your orders, your liens, your claims. You have to know the words. Not these codes of law. These codes of law is only going to hang yourself. I mean, how many goddamn hundreds of millions of codes of law are sitting out there, not for your benefit, but only to allow them to add charges to your constructional contract, your child's contract, so that they can siphon your assets away from your child. Two laws that Jesus gave, that everything can boil down to two. Love thyself and love thy neighbor. And you've got your own self children that you've created. You've got to love them. So you've got to protect them. You've got to control them. Get them out of the orphanage. Then you can go out and love your neighbors. By not causing them any harm in the process. Any other questions, comments, rebuttals?
I originally went to the Skype group with similar questions to these, and I was told to come to the calls with them. So on the 1455, reason for distribution, which one do we check there?
You don't need to do the 1455s. You take this lien document and you get this recorded. You put all of your claims in on that document. You put that into the bankruptcy trustee, and basically they will close down all of those accounts. You will get a debit card. Your assets are going to be transferred over to the United States of America, de jure Treasury Department depositary. You will have a debit card for so much assets out of that. You'll be, if you go over, and basically in most cases you're not going to go over, okay? Unless you go out and buy a foreign country like maybe Libya that's been blown to shit. You might be able to get it dirt cheap. But no, basically you'll get a debit card. Now when you get out and basically close down all your children from being United States citizenship children, you will be able to go in and become a state, like an Iowa Republic citizen, and basically get a green passport. Okay?
Will do.
And that's what basically then that will stand as your international organization driver's license, your travel for your international organization, that it will be a green one. Look to some of these foreigners in the process, especially the Taiwanese. They probably have a better handle on how to control the items in this fraudulent government, bankrupt government, than the people of America do. Because the people of America have been totally polluted by all their damn religious leaders and all the damn government leaders that have been out here, and the news media, and the public school system. You need to go stick your head in the bathtub for about 40 days and wash all that shit out. And then try and come back as a little child and read these documents. Read the Bible as a little child. It didn't tell you to read it as an adult. It said read it as a little child. Ask the question. Find the answer. Understand the words. Know the word. How many little innuendos have been out here? Apple. Why did Eve eat an apple instead of a grapefruit? Because they don't say that the apple of a woman's eye is her child. They don't say the grapefruit of a woman's eye is her child. They say apple. That's why they use apple in the Bible. They don't say onion because that's a vegetable. The fruit. An apple was one of the fruits. And that's what they picked for that saying. The apple of a woman's eye is her child. Metaphors are all throughout history. You've got to look and read and understand what the metaphor really is standing for in the process. The information has been right in front of us all along. We have tried to go overboard in a lot of process, just like I was going overboard by thinking that we needed to go to the Secretary of State to get a number from the Secretary of State. We don't need no goddamn number for them because we're not supposed to be numbered. We're only supposed to be recorded into the book of life, not the book of death. And the book of death operates strictly by numbers. Now, any more questions? This may be the last time you can ask me any questions.
Patrick?
Star 6 if you want to talk. Like I said, this may be the last time I'm going to talk to you guys.
Hunter?
Question.
Well, speak up and ask it.
Question is, for the receipts, can you still cash those in?
You're muffled. Okay, slow down and speak clearly.
Okay, the receipts.
You got your speaker on?
No, I've turned it off.
Okay.
That was
Sound
somebody
a little
else.
better now.
Somebody else had the speaker on. I turned it off.
Okay, go ahead and
I
ask
said-
your question.
With the receipts, how do you go about the cash them in?
You basically get this non-UCC filed with the U.S. trustee, and then you could turn around and send those receipts up there and reference that filing.
Well, say in the event that you don't have no ready cash, is there any other way that you go about trying to get some ready cash?
You need to try and get this in, okay? Scrape together and get these into the county record. Then get it up to the bankruptcy, okay?
Okay, thanks.
I can't do anything more than that, okay? It's not going to cost
Appreciate
you
it.
all that
Thanks.
much. In some states, it may cost you $50 or something like that to file this at the county, okay? So you get it in, and then you get it sent up to that U.S. trustee. And like I said, you could take a receipt form and fill out the 1047 and submit it along with that when you send it to the U.S. trustee and try and get some cash back as quick as possible. They should process that in 3 days.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Anybody else?
So we don't even have to do the involuntary bankruptcy at this point. We're just going straight to the trustee.
We're going straight to the trustee.
Because he'd
Why
probably
do we
rather,
need to go to the court when we've already made our court decision? We're standing out here, okay? We're coming in and claiming our children. We don't need to go to no bankruptcy court to have them make a decision on whether to release our children or not. Basically, they're being held in fraud. Like I said, that U.S. trustee is supposed to be an intermediary person between the bankrupt corporations and the de jure people in the country and the de jure government of the country. He will basically get in touch with the Secret Service, who is over the enterprise financial management system that has every account that you ever initiated from the day you were born till the present day. They know every driver's license in all the different states that you were in because they're all attached by numbers. That book of death, that debtor's book, ledger, however you want to look at it, they have access to that. And then the U.S. Marshals will be out, the ones that are sent out to make the collections and arrest of anybody that has filed fraudulent claims against your assets if they are not willing to settle within the prescribed time that basically these guys allow them.
Oh.
The full settlement may take up to 30 days.
So Patrick, I got a traffic ticket, and I was just about to send a letter tomorrow. They were going to change it up a little bit, so it matches what we're talking about here. I'm going to ask for the full disclosure.
You ask for the full disclosure. I want to know what I got a non-UCC. You get that into the county records, that you own that vehicle, that you have a claim over that vehicle, and you have a claim over that driver's license. Okay? So that you now have a superior claim. Now, can somebody come in with a claim against you if you've got the superior claim for more money than they do? There's no money left. They can claim all they want. Are they going to get paid? No, because there's nothing left on the table. You just took it all off. See the game? You're sitting at the poker table. If you take your money off the table, they can't take it away from you. Yeah, you ask them for those non-UCC filings that they're hoarding in the background.
Nobody's probably ever asked for that.
Right. In all the court cases. Basically, it's in the My Cousin Denny movie. Full disclosure. It was in the Perry Mason movies. But basically, people watch these things and they don't see the little things. But they get their damn high horse up and basically want to go and fight. Oh, I want a rodeo title, or I want this thing, or I want that thing. And they don't even understand what the hell they're arguing about. Because basically, most of the codes that they're trying to argue don't have no effect on us whatsoever. But we have to get our claims in. Then we stand protected. Put your claim in for a hell of a lot more than what it is. Like I said, I'm going to put mine in for $47 billion on my non-UCC. I may only have $5 billion. I doubt that, but basically, I know it's probably a lot more than that since I had military service, and I've worked in about 13 different states, have driver's license, have property in different states, all over the place, and knowing those states and the IRS and everything else out here, basically has been utilizing my assets all along. Military service. Basically, the Defense Department is one of the biggest crooks in this country out here with their hidden liens against the military servicemen's honorable service. Military bounties that we had. And how many claims have they made against that to basically build all the nuclear weapons, the nuclear submarines, the nuclear aircraft carriers that are out here? All nuclear submarines are roughly about $6 billion at a whack. I don't know how many they've made since I got out of service, but I know they're well up into the 700s and some. So basically, in some cases, I think they've built around 100 of them since I got out. And basically, the price hasn't gone down on them any whatsoever. The military complex, basically, that's a shyster money-making system for the bankers. Watch the movie The International. And stop listening to half of these damn talk show people out here that don't know their ass from a hole in the ground and don't want to really try and understand the real system. They want to argue. And that's what you were taught in school, was to argue, to win, to fight. Not to just enjoy the game, but to go out and fight to win. One Hallmark movie. Basically, these guys in this one bowling league. Basically, they just went out and they just bowled for fun. Hell, half the time they were throwing gutter balls. If they got one pin down, they were happy. They weren't trying for strikes. They were just out for the enjoyment of it, the companionship of their fellow person that night. But see, most people can't handle that. They've got to be in a fight and win situation. One more in the casinos when I really didn't give a shit whether I won or not. And I was just enjoying it. But when I was out there to try and go for the throat and win, I normally lost. And that's the way the game's played. You can either enjoy life or basically you can argue your way through life. Okay, any other questions, comments, rebuttals?
You had mentioned that you may do like a 20-minute version of what to do in courts.
Yeah, basically you ask for their charging instruments.
I got everything you ever said, so I figure I'm ready as I will ever be.
Yeah, unless you've caused actual harm, okay? And then basically you should go into a de jure county court and get out of the bar court, because the bar court is only for monetary charges. And basically the county de jure court is 3 of the county commissioners or supervisors. That is the de jure court of the county. That's the government of that county, of that country. Okay? Now, normally the state will basically have a circuit judge come around, a district judge, if there's a real harm case in the process. But there again, basically you can demand a tribunal court in the process and a trial by jury at that point in time. You can demand a trial by jury from the 3 commissioners' court of the county. Perfect example of this. My dad was a township trustee, and they had to have 3 trustees elected to be township trustees. They went out and settled all boundary and fence line disputes. They took the plot maps, the county recorded plot maps for those properties, and they went out to the 2 disputing individuals and basically went through them. The ruling was that 2 of the trustees had to rule one way or the other. If not all 3 of the trustees rule in the same way. That was a court, a township court. The same thing goes for the county supervisors. They're in there making court rulings for the county constantly. Every action that the county supervisors do is a court action. And it has to be at least a tribunal 2 out of 3 in the process. Now, some counties have more supervisors than others, but it still has to be the vast majority. And you've got to get them out of basically operating there in the damn for-profit scenario, kickbacks also. You have to find out whether this county has any non-UCC claims against your property too that they're hiding away. That they filed with the bar attorneys by way of that county prosecutor, that bar county attorney. And he's filing those into the bar records, the dead records for that county in the court system. They don't file those county non-UCCs into the public record books in the recorder's office. They're filed in the damn court records, hidden away.
Now, what
in the
about
bar records?
What about in the case of an IRS tax lien that's recorded on the county?
There again, you can put those off because basically you put your lien in, which is a superior lien. There's nothing left for them to tax. Right?
Right.
And basically you stand as an organization by getting your man of the sea and the man of the land together, and then you stand exempt from all property taxes anyway, or all IRS taxes. You don't owe any taxes. You are now a de jure owner of America, and all the assets have to come back to the source. Just like Neo in the movie Matrix, he had to go back to the source. He'd already claimed this child out of the little pod that they were sucking away.
Oh, another question, Patrick.
Yeah.
If we're recording our UCCs on the county, we don't have to do an affidavit that they exist then.
I'm going to put this cover sheet with mine, which will basically essentially be an affidavit, because I'm going to get that notarized and then attach my UCC or my non-UCC behind it. So that basically now I have two witnesses. I have my two persons. By two persons, you are to be known in the Bible, and that's your man of the sea and the man of the land. See, Jesus didn't get out of the system until he got baptized to become a man on the sea. He couldn't do shit when he was just standing alone as an individual man on the land.
Patrick, the notary, does that have to be a county official, or can it be any public notary?
As long as they're basically licensed and basically, but I would basically get it to the county, one of the county officials, the county auditor, or basically the county treasurer, or somebody that's got a county right there in the county office.
Okay, so county is preferable. Oh, got it.
I would. Basically,
Okay.
why try and go somewhere else when you've got them right there at your disposal?
True.
You walk from one office over to the other.
Okay, thank you.
Now, why try and make these things more difficult than basically what they are?
Well, the idea wasn't difficult. It's very easy for me to get a notary. It's hard to get to the county, but I'll do that.
And basically half these damn notaries that are running around getting them from the damn state, they're basically, they don't know what the shit their damn job is anyway.
True.
And they can't take an oath anyway. They haven't been really licensed to give oaths, where most of the county officials, they're government officials, to basically, pretty much, when they come in there, you're basically coming in under oath to them. Because they're a government official. A non-government official really isn't authorized to take an oath from you. That's the way I look at it. If I'm wrong, speak up and tell me I'm wrong.
No, I understand.
Okay, anybody else have any questions, comments? *6, but make it snappy. Okay, Tom, call tonight.
I will do that. Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you.
Good luck,
Night.
everybody.
Okay.